Mr. Mashaba, I don't know if you can hear me, so I'll ask you again. Are you aware that the City of Tshwane is already committing to taking action for the contractor responsible for securing and ensuring the safety of the stormwater drainage?
Well, yes, thank you very much, Thabo and Newsroom Africa, for giving me this opportunity. I got a call on Sunday from Hammanskraal that the families of the three deceased boys wanted my intervention, and unfortunately, I couldn't make it until this morning at 11 o'clock. And actually, listening to the three families in their plight, you can imagine three young boys, 9, 10, and 11, dying in this kind of callous manner. I felt the best way I can really do, or we can do as Action SA, is to find them a legal recourse. And fortunate enough with experience, because the reason why these families contacted us was because of our intervention at Lily Mine in Barberton. So I've already spoken to our lawyers. This tomorrow morning, I'll be giving them the brief. I believe, and we believe very strongly, that the City of Tshwane has to take the responsibility. They will deal with the safety provider, but ultimately, the City of Tshwane is the one that is actually quite responsible.
Now, whenever instances of poor safety and failures to adequately secure a site arise, you've been a mayor before. Generally, who takes responsibility?
Well, obviously, the city, when they give the business to a service provider, not a city, even when I build my own house, obviously, the service provider, ultimately, I have to really give him the conditions under which he needs to really operate. So the city ultimately has to really take the responsibility, where we know these cases are not isolated cases. It happens all the time in our country, and we have to really bring this to the end. And the only way we can do this, bring this to the end, is to make sure that we hold government accountable, so that they give businesses to companies that can actually deliver and know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the MEC for roads and transport in the city previously said, well, it's too early to put blame on the city as investigations are going on. But in terms of the responsibility in relation to the site and its site management, who should have direct oversight from the point of the city?
Well, it's obviously it's the city. The city is that line. So
no, but Mr. Mashaba, I'm saying more specifically, who should be? Is it the city manager? Is it the director in a department? Who exactly should be having direct oversight over that site management?
Obviously, the city manager, through the whatever department that's responsible for awarding that contract. But the city manager in a municipality takes over the administrative responsibility of the city. So the city manager is the person responsible. But ultimately, politically, whoever runs the city must take responsibility, and including the council of the City of Tshwane must take full responsibility for this.
Have you received any instruction to take legal action against the contractor themselves?
Yeah, well, my brief to our legal team is that we go for the City of Tshwane, and through the City of Tshwane, we can then get hold of the service provider. What is actually quite sad to the families is that in the community, they don't even know who the service provider is, because there are no signboards to see who the actual person is. It is for that reason I'm saying the City of Tshwane must be held accountable, because when you put up a structure like that, you are given a service to provide. You've got to have signboards so that people know which company is responsible for executing this job. So right now, with the three, none of them know who the actual contractor is. That is why we said, don't worry, we will go for the City of Tshwane, and through the city, we'll get to the service provider.
According to the families, what are the factors that are linked to this tragedy, these deaths? In other words, what went wrong?
Well, I believe these kids were playing outside, and one of the family, the first family we visited, I believe the child came home about 11, 12 for lunch and then went out to play. Only later on to be told that there's a tragedy, because obviously this happened in the neighborhood. I mean, that's how all of us, particularly in the township, kids, we play all over. It's very difficult or impossible for the families to have a full control at all the times where the children are. So this really took them by total surprise. I think it is really so hurtful, so painful to really lose young kids at such an age.
Let's talk about what we are also hearing as far as this case is concerned from the city, is that apparently there is a case of theft that has been opened with the police because the barricades that are supposed to have kept that particular site secured kept on being stolen. Have you heard that explanation, and what do you make of it?
Well, Thabo, it is none of our business. It is absolutely none of our business. I think the City of Tshwane, with their service provider, they've got to take full responsibility for the matter of these children. They must not really come out with giving us excuses. We are sitting with excuses in this country where the rule of law is not respected, and people are coming out with excuses, all one excuse after the other. We are not prepared as a society, as a country, to ensure that there's a rule of law. There's a total almost breakdown of the rule of law in our country. That is why we sit with these tragedies where we go to a level of actually losing our young children like this. And I think we're going to teach the City of Tshwane, a lesson for them to really understand that you ultimately take the responsibility, so that as government push our criminal justice system in the event of theft or anything, they've got to really law enforcement agencies to do what they're supposed to. It is not the family's problem. It is not my problem. The City of Tshwane must take full responsibility for this.
Right. Will you be pursuing criminal charges, or is this just going to be a civil claim?
Both, with the criminal and civil claims.
And what do you think
your prospects? I take this to really be made up. It's not an accident, because when you operate in such a negligent kind of fashion, you are bound to really have an accident like this. And now, do we have to really call it an accident? This, for me, as far as I'm concerned, is total negligence. And my brief to our legal team, we go for criminal charges. We must treat this as murder. Once we dealt with the murder case, then we must then look for civil claims, so that there's compensation and justice for families.
What do you think your prospects are for success? I mean, you are, of course, still pursuing the Lily Mine matter. Are you making any progress on that? You have, I think, in October or so, decided to announce a couple of other cases of private prosecution that you are pursuing. What do you think your prospects of success are?
Well, I'm happy to tell you, Thabo, I'm unable to disclose the details. Actually, while on my way to this morning to Temba, I was phoned by the head of our legal team, to give me the good news around the Lily Mine. There's some massive, there's some exciting news in the pipeline, which we will announce in due course. We are just really expecting to really be given this confirmation in writing. And what's really, for me, really quite news. And second, this one in Pretoria, this is an easy case of murder. I don't really foresee any problems. And this morning, before I left, I wrote a letter to the NPA and our criminal justice system regarding case prosecutions, that if they're not giving us the cooperation and the support, we are unfortunately going to be forced in the new year to approach our court, so that they can then, when we announce to the courts, we expose these cases, let them, the NPA and our criminal justice system, tell South Africans why cases as simple as this are not really prosecuted. We had on Friday the cases of the mayor of the City of Johannesburg. You don't have to even be a detective or someone in the police to see that serious crime has really been committed in this regard.
Yeah. What has happened to the cases that you have opened? Apparently, the NPA is saying they've got no record of those cases being opened against the mayor of the city of Johannesburg.
Well, well, it's very sad, Tabo. You remember when, particularly regarding the mayor of the city of Johannesburg and the former mayor, I went to open the case on the 10th of December 2018, and fortunately enough, I was followed by the media immediately after the laying the charge. Then I had a press conference outside the Johannesburg police station. So I was actually quite surprised when I raised this matter with our criminal justice system that they don't know anything about this case. I showed them the video footage. I then even provided them with a case number. So we're waiting for them, and if forced to, unfortunately, we will take these matters with the court, let them explain in an open court of law where we can give them evidence of wrongdoing on all the cases that we are pursuing or asking them to prosecute.
All right, appreciate your time, Mr. Mashaba, leader of Action SA.